Tell me, what's it gonna be? All depending, they get them right the way. I know feet, die for nothing. What's it gonna be?
Welcome, everybody.
They get them right the way. I know feet, die for nothing. Making the same anything
Hey,
you
y'all.
do, they must comment.
Welcome.
So anything you do, I they try to take my way. Plenty
Welcome.
just to make sure money. But my people then go say I know one buy, I know one die, I know one buy.
We hear y'all. We hear.
I want buy motor.
Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Tap in. I'm excited as always. We hear y'all.
What's it gonna? G-Wagon, all depending. They get it right away.
I'm so excited.
Different things that happening. Schemes
I think I need to find another word for mine saying I'm excited. Because I do. I just be so excited and ready to just celebrate and love on everybody that comes into the Ladies Lounge. Welcome, you all.
If you become a
Thank you for being here. We are live.
I want enjoy, I want job life, I want buy motor, I want build house,
We are live. Hello, y'all. Welcome. It is Ladies Lounge Wednesday. I am so excited. I said I'm gonna find another word for y'all instead of just saying I'm excited. But I just be so excited to be in the Ladies Lounge. However, happy Thanksgiving Eve to everybody. I know y'all are in the kitchen cooking up something serious. I know the pots is steaming. I know them cakes smelling good and pies and cookies and the kids, you gotta pop their hands because they want to just be all in the kitchen and family has gathered together. So welcome in y'all on this Thanksgiving Eve. I appreciate everybody for being here. This is a very, very, very special episode that we have. So not only that it's Thanksgiving Eve, but we get to celebrate someone special that's sitting here today. So welcome to the Ladies Lounge podcast. Today's topic is about beauty beyond battles. We're going to talk about how Krista transformed her pain into purpose through makeup and recovery, y'all. So as always, get ready for this inspiring conversation about resilience, creativity, and finding your beauty in life's challenges. So get ready. Make sure y'all have y'all drinks if possible, but if you have us tuned in, turn us up a little bit while y'all in the kitchen cooking. And put in the chat what y'all cooking today. I'm excited to hear about what's on the stove. But I would love to welcome the beautiful Krista into the Ladies Lounge. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Brett. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so happy to have you here. You have no idea. I'm so happy to have you. Just a little brief story. So I met Krista in as we say, in the TikTok street. And ever since we have connected, it has been just a great vibe. Energy is amazing. She's like family now. We locked in. We said it from day one. She's been so supportive, and I try to return the same as well. So before we get too further into it, I know y'all ready to just hear all about it. We have some house rules here in the Ladies Lounge. We just ask that you are respectful. We ask that you ask questions because this is an engaging conversation. This is an engaging community, and we want to have fun. We are all about having fun here. We gonna laugh. We gonna cry sometimes. We may even cuss a little, but most importantly, we gonna have fun in whatever we do. So to get into it a little further, Krista, tell us about yourself. Who is Krista?
Well, I am 37 years old. I am in the central Michigan area. So it's a little bit chilly right now.
Okay, there you go. I couldn't hear you at first.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay,
well, I'll do a redo. My name is Krista. I'm 37 years old, and I'm coming to you from the central Michigan area. It's a little bit chilly here, so it's actually finally starting to feel like the holidays.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I've lived in Michigan most of my life. I was born here, raised up a little bit in Ohio, and then came back to Michigan. I graduated high school about 30 minutes from where I live now. Went to college in the town that I live. I did spend some time out in Kansas a couple years ago for a job, which was exciting and different. And then I came back partially to be closer to family, and also I came back to someone that I had dated previously, and we've now been together for 3 years.
That is amazing. First of all, I'm gonna say I'm a little bit jealous that you have a little cool weather. It's cool here where I am in Jacksonville, Florida. Different from South Florida, but I would love to experience the holidays in some real cold weather. That is like one of my goals.
You say that, but I guarantee you, once you have lived through one Michigan winter, you're gonna be like, oh, never going back there again.
Right, right. And I'm sorry, can y'all hear us now? I know they were saying in the chat they couldn't hear us.
Oh.
Can you hear us? I think we might be good. Okay. I can hear you. But, so let's get into it. I know when we met in the TT streets, you shared a little bit about your journey of where you came from. And that was one thing that I definitely admired about you was your resilience. And then also to not even being afraid to share who you are, and where you come from. That is one of the things that I definitely loved about you. And thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to share your experience. But I want you to share your experience with the world of, why are we having this conversation tonight?
So this is something that's really near and dear to my heart. Sharing my, as we put it, and I say we, I mean people who do a 12-step program, which is what I did, and still do to maintain my recovery. And I just want to clarify. So I am about 4.5 years in recovery, and to me, recovery means, thank you, that I have not had a drink or a drug in 4 years. So for me, my drug of choice was alcohol. My story does not involve a lot of, like, I guess when you think of substance use, you think more of drugs, and like in particular, people don't usually put alcohol into that category, but alcohol is a substance just like any other. It changes the way you think, the way you behave. So my struggle was really with alcohol. Sorry, I just realized my neck pillow was like right next to me and it looks weird.
Oh,
it's like a little pause.
We keep it real here in the ladies' lounge. That is quite all right.
It's a neck pillow shaped like a dog. So anyway, so for me, so what we now refer to as substance use disorder. So if you hear it talked about in medical terms, it should be talked about as SUD, which is SUD, substance use disorder. And that is a broad term for the use of, whether it's prescription drugs, illegal drugs, alcohol, anything like that, any substance that you're abusing, or any substance that you're using. We're trying to take the word abuse out of this whole category of this whole topic, because for a long time, there's so much stigma about, oh, well, think of all the words that you have heard, or maybe even have thought of when you think of someone who drinks too much or who uses drugs. They're not kind words.
Right.
So really we're trying to, I've worked a little bit in the recovery field professionally, and we're trying really hard to bring about a change in the way that we talk about people who are in recovery. It's substance use disorder, alcohol use disorder, and recovery. There's a lot of paths to recovery. It's not just a 12-step program or just an abstinence-based program. There are many people that I know who are sober from use of things like methamphetamines, things like that, and they're sober because they've been put on what's called a medically assisted treatment program. So they are being prescribed an alternative to their drug of choice. but it has kept them from using for years.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So, here in the ladies' lounge, we go as deep as, you're comfortable with, of course.
Mhm.
But if you don't mind sharing, like, where did it start for you with
Yeah.
the drinking?
So my drinking story is a little bit odd. I actually did not take my first drink until I was 19, which is actually pretty old for about the area that I'm from. I went to high school in a very small town area, like more cows than people. Um, so what is there to do in a place like that? Well, pretty much drink or do drugs or do other things that also lead to not great choices or results. And I never did, and I'm not to this day, I'm still not sure why, but I just never was comfortable drinking in high school. But I had some things happen when I was younger. When I was 13, my parents got divorced. Now I will say I am very blessed that my parents co-parented beautifully. Um, they made sure that they sat together at every game, every band concert. We still had holidays together as a family. They co-parented in a way that I don't see very often, and in a way that I know I'm very lucky to have had. Um, in that, though, of course, when your parents separate, often your parents date, they start dating. My mom started dating someone, and we moved in with that person. And unfortunately, when I was 13, over the time period of 9 months, this man's son, who was around my age, molested me over a period of 9 months. And that was the first time that I really, I felt very broken. And it was really the first time in my life that anything like went wrong, you know? I had had a very, I had been very blessed to have at that point, not a lot of people in my life had passed away. I hadn't gone through a lot of hardship. I had two parents who worked. I had two parents who loved me and who still love me. So this was very much like the crack, you know?
Right.
And I dealt with that definitely not in a healthy way. I actually, in high school, I coped by self-harm. So I was someone who cut
Okay.
as a way to cope with my pain. Um, and then when I was 19, I went to a house party with a bunch of my friends, like both from college and high school. And I'll never forget, like, this is burned into my brain. My friend handed me a red Solo cup of orange juice and vodka and said, if you don't like it, just chug it and then you won't taste it.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
of course, I drank it and it tasted terrible because it was mixed by another 19-year-old who probably put, 3/4 vodka and a splash of orange juice for color in it. So I chugged it. And within, half an hour or so, I was like, oh gosh, like I feel confident and I feel funny and pretty and I feel like people like me and this is really great. I felt all of that like confidence that I didn't have as a sober person because I had not healed a lot of the things that I went through. That all just sort of went into the fog of alcohol. And all of a sudden I was this confident, outgoing, extroverted person,
Wow.
Until I passed out.
Mhm.
So the very first time I had a drink, I drank to the point of blacking out. And I continued to drink that way every time I drank. My goal when I drank was to drink enough to black out, to pass out or black out.
Hmm.
And that continued until I was 33. Yeah. So and it's funny because throughout the years I went to college. I did graduate. I have a bachelor's in public relations with a minor in psychology. I've held down full-time jobs while drinking like that. And I was drinking probably 4 or 5 times a week at night. I
Mhm.
never drank during the day. I never drank on the job. But when it hit 5 o'clock, I went home and I started drinking.
Mm.
Um, you know, baby.
Wow.
Sorry,
That
dog.
no worries. That's and that's a good segment to just breathe, you know. I know that was a lot for you to express, and sometimes we just have to pause for a moment,
Of course.
breathe, you know. Um, I am extremely, you're probably gonna hear me say this throughout this episode and beyond. I am extremely proud of you for being able to speak up, own your truth, stand in who you are authentically, and understand that this phase that you went through in your life doesn't define who you are, and it does help with your story of who you are today.
Yeah.
We had to go through certain things. Everybody's certain thing that they went through looks different, and of course, all of our stories are written different for each one of us. But definitely, for you to be able to be open about it, you know, I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I come with some questions here. Um,
That's bring them on.
come with some questions here, and we have a house full of people here in the chat that is tuned in. So thank you all for being here and celebrating Krista and hearing her story. It is greatly appreciated. And can you share with us like your personal story of overcoming pain and turning it into purpose?
Yes. So this is what we call experience, strength, and hope. If you work a 12-step program, you're really encouraged to share your story, whether it's with another alcoholic or another addict, whether that's in the form of one-on-one or we do something called open talks, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, except it's a set date. It's usually held in a regular meeting place, and it's announced at all AA meetings. So this is a story that I've told. This is a very condensed version of the story that I've told. I've given 5 open talks now, telling my story. So for me, when I was 33, I was working as a property manager in Kansas, and that's when the drinking got really bad. It was to the point where I was having trouble making it through the day to get to 5 o'clock. By about 10 a.m., I was planning what I was going to drink when I got home. I was, checking my bank account to make sure I had money to get what I needed. And of course, alcoholism is a progressive disease. The more that you drink, the more that you need to drink in order to get drunk. Yes. So, by the end of my drinking career, I was coming home and drinking a large quantity of alcohol, probably the equivalent of about a fifth a pint and give or take 6 to 8 beers in a night. And one night I got really out of control. I was living by myself, but I had kind of taken on a roommate at the time. And my roommate called my best friend and said, Krista is super drunk. I don't know how to handle her, and I need you to come over here. And this was 2:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
So Becky, my friend, she comes over and, she's trying to talk some sense into me, but basically just trying to get me to lay down, go to sleep, and stop being a pain in the what.
Right.
But the one thing I remember about that very, very blurry night is that the way that she looked at me, she was scared. And it wasn't that she was scared of me, she was scared for me.
Wow.
And that night she said, you're probably not going to remember this, but you need to go to an AA meeting as soon as you're sober enough to go to one. And that was July 3rd. That night was July 3rd. So July 4th was the first day that I went without a drink. And then July 5th was the day I attended my first AA meeting. And ooh, I was scared. I mean, you're going to a place where you don't know anybody, where
Right.
you kind of have some idea of what's going to happen because, you know, they portray AA meetings in movies and things like that. So you're like, well, I kind of know, but not really.
Right.
Um, and it was very welcoming. Everyone was very kind, very warm, and I was encouraged to listen. What they do is called a first step meeting, and everyone shares their own experience, strength, and hope, kind of condensed. And then at the end of the meeting, you're encouraged but not required to share your story, or at least what you're comfortable sharing.
Okay.
And it got to me, and all I could do was cry. And the only thing I could get out was, my name is Krista, and I'm an alcoholic. And just went from there. I went to 3 or 4 meetings a day, as many as I went to one at 5 a.m. I went to one at noon. I went to one at 5:30, and I went to one at 8.
Wow. He was busy in these meetings. Wow. And
Yeah.
you know, you hear a lot about, I don't know, I have to speak for myself. So, you know, you see this on movies. It's not, you know, unless you actually lived it, it's not something that you see or get to hear about it often unless you have somebody that is open, you know, such as yourself to share these stories. But I do, listening to you, it sounds like, you know, sometimes when we don't have the words, you know, only thing that we can do is just sometimes our tears are words, our body language are our words, the energy. You know, in your case, you was just able to say your name and your truth. And
Yes.
that was all that you needed to say.
Yep.
You know, because you were taking care of the rest of the journey.
Yes.
And you knew that you were going to be taken care of. That's why you had the strength, you know, you mustered up that strength enough to just say those words. And that's powerful. Look how far it's gotten.
It has. And I have to remind myself every day that I am an alcoholic. Um, Alcoholism isn't something that's cured. It's something that I look at as my disease is in remission.
Okay.
And it, you know, sobriety is not something that can be bought. It's rented every day, and rent is due every day.
Wow. You said something powerful. It is rented. Rent is due every day. Oh, wow. I got goosebumps. Just you saying that. I mean, you know, for me, I don't like paying rent, but you know, I gotta have some what to say. But the message behind it, that is so, so powerful, Krista. Wow. Like, you know, I knew it was something special about you from the day that we met, and I just knew you had a story to tell. And as always here in the Ladies Lounge, you know, the hope is that someone is inspired, you know, someone is watching, and hopefully they are helped and healed, um, to be able to muster up the strength enough to go get help, or even just speak their truth. And so now let's get into the work that you did. So what inspired you to use makeup as a tool for healing and transformation?
So actually it was pretty simple. I needed something to do with my time. I had all this extra time now where I came home, and what I used to do was come home and drink. And now I came home and I paced. And I was, you know, early sobriety is very uncomfortable, physically and mentally. I think for the first month that I was sober, my body shook from detoxing.
Right.
So I would, anywhere that I sat down, I would shake. I would just vibrate because my body was like getting rid of these toxins.
Right.
You know, and mentally it was like a fog was starting to clear, and it was like, what do I do with myself? I have all this time, I have all this, you know, and I had energy again finally, because, you know, in addition to not being drunk, it also meant that the medications that I took for my mental health were actually working. So my depression was starting to lift, my bipolar was starting to even out, you know, things were starting to make sense.
Mhm.
So my sponsor said, I think you should get a hobby. Is there anything that you can think of that you would like to do, you know, that would occupy your time and your body in some way? She's like, it could be crafting, it could be, you know, working out, it could be just you need to find something to do though, something productive. And I was like, oh boy. Because I'm going to tell you what, I don't have a creative bone in my body, except for maybe I write. Um, and then I thought, what about makeup? I had all this makeup from, I used to work at Maurice's.
Mhm.
Okay, so like kind of, clothing store, you had to look a certain
Okay.
way. Yeah, women's clothing store. So you always had to come in and look really done up and nice,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Now, when I first started there, I was on the heels of my first divorce. And one of the, I'm, I want to say one of the girls, but she's a woman. She's a grown up woman.
Right.
One of the women there took me under her wing. And her name is Erica. I'm still friends with her to this day. She is like this beautiful, amazing woman.
Mhm.
And she knew how to do makeup. Like she knew what she was doing, still does to this day. Um, and I was like, can you teach me how to do makeup? You know?
Mhm.
And so she taught me. And so I picked up all these wonderful things from her. And she was so gentle and so like patient. I had all these questions and I was like really bad when I first started. Um,
Aren't we
and
all when we first start?
oh my gosh. And like I didn't wear makeup in high school. My mom never wore makeup, so I didn't grow up wearing it. So
Right.
makeup was like this foreign thing that I kind of was like, only like really pretty popular girls know how to do that. Like I'm,
Right.
I was the kid like who was in band, like in the back of the class chewing on her hair. Like I'm not. So, fast forward and I'm like, I've got all this makeup. What if I just start watching, YouTube videos and TikToks and
Right.
teach myself how to do makeup? Because this was like when TikTok was starting to become popular. So I did. And I started posting pictures on Instagram, things like that. And people were like, oh my gosh, like I love what you did with the colors, or I love the shape that you did with your eye, or things like that. And I'm like, maybe I'm actually good at something. Like, and that was a big deal for me to feel good about something that I was accomplishing,
Mhm.
and to feel um, confident about doing something that had previously been difficult.
Mm.
I spent a good portion of my life with the voice in my head telling me, you're not good enough. And that applied to everything. You're not a good enough daughter. You're not a good enough sister. You're not a good enough friend, wife, girlfriend, whatever it was. I
Right.
never felt good enough. Um, and when I started doing makeup and things like that, it gave me a purpose and it started to help me feel more confident. Um, and because I was doing makeup, I looked into skincare because, you need to take care of your
Go
skin.
hand in hand. Right.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. So that led into some self-care as well. Yeah.
That
So,
is powerful. And so I just love how you took something and it was like you had your aha moment. Like you said, I'm actually good at something. Like, wow, I can do this. And it's fun. And it's almost like you can have fun and be creative with makeup.
yeah.
So, as you see, I was like, I had to show up today, with just a little bit more razzle and dazzle. But when you do time into makeup, it can be therapeutic. And in your case, you turn, your pain into a purpose. And
Yeah.
it's just so phenomenal to hear you share your story. Like
Thank you.
I'm here for it. I'm just here for it all. So in your journey of recovery, were there any moments that led to a breakthrough for your self confidence? Like I heard you throw that word around a lot. So where was that breakthrough for you?
I wouldn't say that there has been Sorry, had to say I love you to the boyfriend.
The reassurance.
He's just strolling through on the side.
Right.
Um,
Remember back in the day, you'd be like, I love juice. It makes you
olive juice. And then
right.
it's like, did I say I love you or did I say olive juice?
Right.
Um,
And scene. Okay.
anyway. So I don't really think that I've had so much of a like massive breakthrough or anything at any point. I had what is referred to as a spiritual awakening, which is
I'm talking my language.
yeah, and this is something that is talked about in AA.
Okay.
So when you have a spiritual awakening, basically it's the moment where you have worked through the steps, you've worked through at least the first 9 steps of the program, and you have come to a place where the last 3 steps of the program are essentially just guides for living every day. You kind of do rinse and repeat on those once you've completed the first 9 steps. And the spiritual awakening for me, it was very odd. It was I was driving back to Kansas from Michigan. I had done a cross country trip and I drove the entire time with no music.
Oh.
And
Now,
it
how
was
many hours was that
it's about 11.
with no music?
Yeah. It's like 726 miles.
Now, that's some that's definitely some. I know it was some conversations and
Yep.
awakening going on that ride.
There was, and it was, because it was just me in the car. I had someone take care of my dog for the week.
Okay.
'Cause normally I would have Herman in the car with me. But I just remember I was driving, it was early in the morning because I liked to leave at like 2 in the morning and drive through early morning so I could get to where I was going around dinner time or so. Sun was coming up and I just felt calm. Like this overwhelming sense of like peace and serenity just like flooded through me, and all of a sudden it was like I knew that everything that I had been trying to work on, that I had been working towards, everything that was going on in my life was going to be okay. And it was just I just sat with that feeling, for the rest of the ride, and just talked to my higher power, and for me, I mean, you've seen my lives. I can just,
Right.
And so I kind of just did that, but it was very calm. It was very sort of like, there was a lot of gratitude being poured out. And gratitude is a very big part of my program today. Attitude of gratitude, can't be hateful and grateful at the same time.
Come on now with the bars.
Yeah. So, I just had that moment of feeling at peace with myself. And that was a very big deal. I have very rarely felt comfortable in my own skin. And I still struggle with that today because I'm human and I'm not perfect. But I definitely know that when I feel that way, I know where to go. I seek out a quiet place, and I talk to my higher power. And sometimes I get an answer, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get an answer I don't like. And lately sometimes the answer has been you need to do the work, and that's not necessarily an answer I like. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes I'm like, are you really? Really?
Right.
You know?
I know those conversations oh too well.
Yeah. And sometimes the answer is not now.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
that one's a hard one, like to swallow, because we're all human, but especially alcoholics are impatient, childlike, and selfish. We want everything when we want it, how we want it right now.
Wow.
that is inherently the makeup of an alcoholic. And so to kind of, for me, it's been a lot of rerouting and making new neural pathways. So thinking about things differently, recognizing thought patterns that are destructive or harmful, stopping them and going, back up, go the other way. You know, so I have little mini breakthroughs. You know, on TikTok, there's been a few times where like a brand has reached out and complimented a video. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, that's such a big deal.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's so exciting. And then I have people in my life who, you know, they'll reach out and say, oh my gosh, you know, you did such a great job on your makeup on this video. Would you mind doing my makeup for this event? You know?
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
That is awesome. And
Yeah.
I love watching your lives and you know how you have your person behind like the picture of what's the look of the day.
Oh,
And
the
so I'm always
inspiration.
in there and I'm always excited because I'm like, ooh, you know, then it's always something else be coming up in this, whatever. But what I love is that you know, I'll either take my adult naps or if I can't finish the video through, you'll always send me what the final looks look like. And I just get so excited because I'm like, you are so talented to just be able to look at a picture and then you can, you know, create the look for yourself. And you have people that are actually reaching out to you like, hey, can you do my event? That's you. Coming from sharing your story of where you were once upon a time and how you use, you know, makeup to just be creative. And like I can speak for me. Sometimes, you know, I've shared this story of overcoming anxiety, and I have my days where, you know, like you said, it's just those breakthroughs. You just need a moment. I'm not perfect, and sometimes I trust myself a lot more where I could talk myself down now from having full blown anxiety attacks. But sometimes I do find my hands are all over the place. So whether it's baking or coming on here and talking, but sometimes even with makeup, like you just get to be creative. You get to express yourself. You know, it's so much more that goes into makeup that people really don't understand. You know, and then just being able to just it's like a Picasso on your own face. Why not have fun while you're doing it? So I love that you have found your purpose in makeup, you know, and now you're being recognized for it. That's really, really, really huge. And again, I am so proud of you. Like just the story that you know, of where you come from and then just where you are today is amazing. And I just hope that anybody is watching is just definitely inspired and motivated to start your makeup. If it's not makeup, find what it is, you know, that makes you feel good, that gets you out of your head. Sometimes we sit and we're just in our head and we creating these things that don't even exist, you know, or it's something that's minute, but we done spent so much time. I don't trust being in my head too long because whole scenario that don't even exist. And now, you know, now my energy is off. I don't feel like getting up today, or I don't feel like, you know, looking the part today. So I just encourage everybody to get out your head. Get active, be proactive, because you will find out how much talent you really do have and how it can get you through those days where you need a pick me up. And so well, I mean, just like these conversations just keep going, you have just like really answered a lot of my questions that I had for you. So my one question, how do you help others find you in their battles through your work?
And I'm sorry, give me one. I have to grab my boyfriend so he can take the dog out.
Oh. Well, anyways, y'all are stuck with me for a few moments while she will grab her boyfriend. So make sure you all are tuned in later on because we have something to talk about after we have this amazing conversation with Krista. And again, I am so proud of her. She is celebrating 4 years of sobriety. You all, so we are just here to love up on her, celebrate her, hear her story, but make sure you stick around at the end of the show because I have some important information to share with you all. I am so excited about. And thank you all for being here and watching this episode as we continue to celebrate Krista. She is sharing her story with us. It is an amazing story, very powerful, very uplifting, and definitely motivation. So I am proud of her for even being here. So thank you all. And she's back. Y'all like that commercial break we just had?
I'm back. Sorry.
Scene. So question: How do you help others find beauty in their battles through your work?
You know, I try to encourage people to stay positive, first of all. And also to be, I want to figure out how to say this. What I figured out was if I don't love myself where I'm at right now today, I'm not going to love myself more when I'm better the next day or when I'm, whatever it is, I always used to think like, well, if I was this, I'd be happier. Or if I were, once I get skinny, I'll be happy. Once I hit this many followers, I'll be happy. It doesn't work like that. If I don't, work on loving myself right now where I am, even though I have really hard days sometimes,
Right.
That's not going to change just because, I suddenly like got really great at makeup or got famous or, anything like that. So,
Right. That's some good stuff. And you said if I don't love myself where I am, then how can I love myself when I'm even better?
right.
That right there says a mouthful. And that is it's so important. You have to love yourself where you're at.
And be kind to yourself where you're at. I think a lot of us spend so much time beating ourselves up about like, I don't make enough money, or I'm not fit enough, or I'm not this or that. And if I could just get there, then I'll be happy with myself. Then I'll love myself. Then I'll be kind to myself. No, do it now.
Do it now. Like Nike, just do it.
Yeah, do it.
Everybody in the chat, I appreciate y'all for even being here. Everybody is just showing you some love. And we're almost at the end of this segment.
Oh my gosh.
But, as we always close out, I always want to leave everybody with some motivational, uplifting. You know how I do on TikTok Live. We always share affirmations. What advice would you give someone struggling to find purpose after facing a major challenge?
Don't give up. And I know that sounds like very cliche, but it's all about, and actually, there's a man in our AA groups who makes bracelets, and I have one right now, and you can't read it, but on it, it says forward. And that is to remind me to always forward, never back.
Wow.
So it's just, even if you're doing like a really tiny, teeny, like a centimeter forward every day, you're still moving forward. Like, don't wait for those big wins. Take the small ones and celebrate those, and like clap for yourself, like clap for your damn self.
Absolutely.
And let other people pour into you and be happy for you. Because when you let people do that, when you let them love on you, you are in turn able to love on them and love on yourself and be a positive light. So don't be discouraged by the things that you get. Don't be good. Relapse is almost always a part of recovery. I'll put it that way. I have been very blessed that I have not had a relapse yet. There is a yet possibility.
Right.
Thank you. But relapse is probably a part of 95% of people who suffer from substance use disorder. They have a relapse. But what I learned, and this was in Kansas, it was we don't shoot our wounded.
Mhm.
So when you come back and you're like, I went back out and I had, I went on a binge, that's okay. You're back now. You're back now. Let's keep building you up. You know, just because you get a flat tire, does that mean that you slash the other three so that you just can't use the car?
Right.
No.
Good point.
You put the spare on and then you get a new one and then you keep going. You know?
Wow. Wow. And what message would you leave for those who feel stuck in their pain, unable to see their own beauty and potential?
Oh, that's so hard. Know that no matter how dark of a place that you think you might be in, how deep of a hole you think you might have dug, there is light. And all you have to do is reach out and just keep reaching out. This is what we tell people when they first come into recovery. Call the people on the phone list we give you. If the first person doesn't answer, call the next person. Call the next person. Call until someone picks up, because the person who picks up is the person who is meant to pick up that call for you. So keep reaching out. You know, there's so many people who want to help those who are suffering from either substance use disorder, from mental health issues. There is help out there if you are willing to seek it and reach out for it. And be willing to be vulnerable and to let people see those parts of you that you might feel are ugly or not wanted, or, well, no one would ever love me if I showed them that part of me. You'd be surprised.
You would be surprised.
You would be surprised, because I have heard a lot of stories in the last 4.5 years of going to meetings, and not once have I ever looked at another person in the room and been like, I don't know about that.
Right.
I've always looked at them and been like, dang, like they made it
too.
through.
Damn,
Yeah, like,
alone.
oh, did that,
Right.
Or it's like, oh my gosh, like they made it through that and they're still sitting here in this chair. That's incredible.
And that, I love that you said that, because that's what helped me with my anxiety. I was afraid to talk about it. At the time, I was the only one in my family, and even some of my friends. I was the only one who was diagnosed by a doctor with having anxiety. So a lot of people did not know how to help me.
Right.
When I would have those episodes, and with not having people help you, it was like it made it worse, because the
Right.
first question that everybody asks is, "What's wrong?" I don't know. And then so now it sends me up this whole, like, I'm skyrocketing because I can't even explain to you what's wrong. So now I'm feeling like something is even, like now something's wrong, like on another level, because why can't I explain what's wrong? And so, when we went through the pandemic and a lot of people had to sit with themselves, anxiety started to become a thing. This whole mental health started to become a thing. And now, today I have people that reach out to me and they're like, how did you overcome this? And I'm like, you're calling me for help? It was, today I'm not shocked, but overcoming my own anxiety and learning how I have to trust myself first. So when I am picking up the phone to call somebody, I also am trusting myself that I'm saying to myself, it's gonna be okay. Nothing is really wrong. You just a little gassy. But then now, because I'm an overthinker and all this other stuff, my gas is now, and I told myself I'm about to stroke out or something crazy.
It's your appendix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, you just had to lean over a little bit, just let
Yeah.
just air it out a little bit. But when you start trusting yourself and you're able to talk yourself through, like you said, keep calling these people, because the person who is meant to answer that phone is going to answer that phone. But while you're making the next call, guess what? You're trusting yourself that you are okay, because you're remembering the steps, remembering the guidance that was given to you. So that way, when that person does answer the phone call, you can now express and have that sigh of relief, because you didn't give up. We often give up because we give up on ourselves first. first and foremost. We didn't even give ourselves a chance. You know, so I am just so I am so proud of you, and your journey and just your story that you have to share. You know, you did the work. I always tell people when you talk about going on your healing journey, when you talk about this spiritual journey, when you talk about any journey that you have to go on, this is not a hashtag. It gets ugly, it gets dark. It is going to be a lot of times that you are by yourself, talking to your higher power of who you believe in. Even before we are, you know, before it became a ladies' lounge, I was quiet. There was a lot that was said to me that I needed to listen to because we got two ears and one mouth for a reason. And I'm glad that I listened to it. You know, even that part that you said about doing the work, I was just saying, oh, but all right, okay, I'm gonna do it. And here we are. You know what I mean? It's like when you get out your own way, you can do the work. And one thing, Krista, you did was you got out your way. You believed in yourself. You trusted yourself. I'm so proud of you. I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm always in your live supporting you. It is so amazing to sit and see somebody and understand, like, wow, somebody came from this situation that was only in that time and turned it into purpose. And I'm watching you in real time, you know, just be your authentic self, just still push through the day. I don't know what you had going on, you know, before you came on this live, but you still showed up.
Yes.
You're showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is what is most important. And so I just thank you for sharing yourself with me, first and foremost. But I also just thank you so much for coming in the ladies' lounge and being your authentic self because you understand, you definitely understand the assignment of what the ladies' lounge is about. So I thank you for even, you know, coming in the ladies' lounge, embracing it for what it is. You know, when I put it out there that I'm looking for people to come on, and you was like, I want to tell my story. Well, come on, come tell your story because that's what we need. This is what we need to hear. This is what we need to see. The ladies' lounge is for everybody, men included. As you see, I have some men now who are lounging in the ladies' lounge, and I am so excited. You know, this is a platform for all of us because we all need to have these conversations. We all can learn from each other, and we are the village, right? So it's not just the younger generation that's looking to us. You don't even know. You just help somebody our age. You know, we are in the same age bracket. Somebody that's older, and of course, somebody that's younger. You just people of the many by even just telling your story. So if you are watching and you haven't told your story yet, this is what the Ladies Lounge is for, is to get the message out before the time runs out. We have our own resources within our own community, and it's time for us to do the work. Krista has done the work and she's still doing the work. Britt has done the work and she's still doing the work, right? So it's time to trust yourself. It's time to invest in yourself, and it's time to love up on you. Because if you ain't loving yourself, how the hell am I gonna love you? How does that work? Right? So this has been such a phenomenal, phenomenal episode. I'm gonna say it again. I'm so excited. I am so excited for you. I am so proud of you. Keep going. The sky is the limit as always. I mean, you talking about you have people reaching out to you like, can you come do my event? You know, you are going live more now. You are expressing yourself with these different looks, y'all, for Halloween time. I don't know who I was getting from a mermaid to a witch to whatever she was inspired by. I think you did. Who was it from? What is it? Justice League? Was it
Liz, my friend Liz did Wonder Woman.
And it was just like, and the people that she is even connected with, talented, just amazing. And I love to see it. So I'm here for it. Thank you so much for being here in the Ladies Lounge. But before we close out, as always, I have something exciting to share with you all. However, Krista, any last words that you have for anybody that's watching?
Oh my gosh. Believe in yourself. Don't give up. Keep your chin up. And, you know, one foot in front of the other. Do the work one day at a time. That's all we ever get is one day at a time. And sometimes even if you have to take it a minute at a time, you'll get there. And I guess my biggest thing is there's a usually when I do open talks, there's a prayer that I end with, and I don't have it memorized and I don't have it up, but
Oh, I was gonna say, be here.
but it's the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi, and there's a couple lines in there that I just love, that they resonate with me so much. But it's, Lord, grant that I may seek to understand rather than to be understood, and to love rather than to be loved. So just carry that with you. And if you are struggling, with substance use, please, please, please reach out. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, reach out to a hotline, reach out to a substance use disorder treatment center. There are people who want to help, and there are people in recovery who want to help you.
That's powerful. Listen, you all heard it here. This episode, it is people who are out there that want to help. Again, resources. We have the resources within our own community. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. But I'm gonna definitely keep sharing this with you all, that the resources are here. So that is gonna tie us over to, what I'm gonna share with y'all. I am so excited to share this, that we are going to if my screen ever. So y'all, we are going to be in the Moga Retreat March 7th through the 10th, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. I am so excited to share this with you all. And it is a networking event. So if you have a business, if you are an influencer and you want to share your product with us publicly, this is the event that you do not want to miss. If you just want to come and just network, y'all, and you don't have a business, that is quite all right. You are more than welcome, because conversations like this, what me and Krista just had tonight, that can come up, over this weekend. You can be inspired and motivated, to start your business. If you are scared to start a business, if you already started your business, spent the money, but you ain't doing nothing with it, you may want to come to this Moga Retreat, because we definitely gonna push you and hold you accountable to be your greater self, not your best self, because your best self showed up to the Moga Retreat. But we're gonna push you to be your greater self. Get these products out there. Matter of fact, bring your products to this event. We are not gonna stop you from selling, making your money, networking. We're gonna have food and fellowship. That is the only work that we want y'all to do this weekend, March 7th through the 10th, is networking. We're not asking you to do anything else but to show up, have fun, heavy on the retreat, right? Because we're gonna show everybody that we can have fun by doing this, and we are loving up on one another, supporting each other. We always say that we want to support each other. So I'm telling y'all, we have the resources. If you are live on this episode tonight, you go back and watch all of my other episodes. It is all about me giving you the resources, and a lot of these resources are going to be at this Moga Retreat. So tonight, the rest of this week, I will be sending out the registration packages. If you are interested in being a part of this Moga Retreat, which I do highly suggest, please make sure that you provide me with your email address so we can get this information over to you all. I'm not even gonna say people. My family is in the chat. They are going to be there. If you are on TikTok, we got Queen Shishi who's in the chat. She is going to be there. She says she can't wait. We have some other outstanding VIP, because we are all very important people. And one thing I want you all to remember is you are your own brand. So whether you have a business or not, as long as you have a name yourself, you are a brand. Okay. So come represent your brand. This is going to be an amazing event that you don't want to miss. This is the first of many. And I just want to make sure I thank all of you for being a part of pushing me to even be in this space where I am talking to you all about the Moga Retreat. I have shared my story time and time again, and hope that it does inspire someone to just make sure that you just step out on faith. You know, and I could be reached. I'm on social media, y'all. I am no fear of social media. Okay, you can find me on Facebook. I'm under Britt Danielle. You can find me on TikTok. I'm under Ladies Lounge. On TikTok, you mainly find me on TikTok a lot of times too, because I go live on there. But that is how you can make sure that you provide me with your email address. Um, we do have sponsorship packages as well, you all. So you want to make sure that you connect with me so we can get these sponsorship packages out there. They are amazing packages. What comes with your weekend is, get you're gonna have food, we're gonna have music, we're gonna have boss bags that's just gonna come with just some nice trinkets. You're gonna have t-shirts, we're gonna have a pit barbecue, and we're gonna have a live Ladies Lounge podcast, you all. And I cannot thank you enough for being a part of the Ladies Lounge, believing in me. You all just don't understand how much you guys have inspired me and pushed me to another level. I am stepping out of my comfort zone, y'all, with doing this. So again, you can find me on Facebook. I'm under Britt Danielle. You can find the Mobile Retreat has a Facebook page as well. And I'm also on TikTok under Ladies Lounge. So you definitely can find me in these social media streets to make sure that you provide me with your email. Again, we have sponsor packages. We're going to have some very important people in this place. So if you want to continue conversations what me and Krista just had today, make sure that you connect with me. This is my phone number on this flyer, you all. So you definitely have access to me. I'm out here. I'm putting myself out here. So this is my personal phone number. So make sure you all connect with me. I greatly appreciate you all being here. Krista, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I can't thank you enough. I love you. I'm watching you. I admire you just from your growth of seeing from when we first met to even now. So I'm definitely encouraged by you. Keep up the great work. Thank you for being in the Ladies Lounge. My people in the chat, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here and rocking out with your girl. I'm gonna just stop talking, y'all, because I am getting emotional with just all the love and support that you all have given the Ladies Lounge and believing in me. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you all enjoy your family tomorrow. I hope you all enjoy that food. Make sure you think of me. Some people was giving out some good stuff that they was cooking tomorrow. And you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to hang out with me and Krista tonight. And as always, I love you all. Everybody have an amazing night. Until next time, next week we are back here in the Ladies Lounge at 7 p.m. So I hope to see you there.